We've got some exciting news for all you Marvel maniacs out there.
That's right. We're inviting you to join our exclusive Marvel Movie Minute membership program.
For just $5 a month or $55 a year, you'll gain access to a world of marvelous perks that will make you feel like you've been hit with a dose of super soldier serum.
As a member, not only will you get bad puns like that, you'll also get your own private podcast feed delivering early, ad-free episodes straight to your ears faster than Thor's hammer flying back to his hand.
And members also get access to periodic bonus episodes exclusively for our most dedicated fans. Consider it your own personal Jarvis for Marvel movie content.
Plus, you'll gain entry to our exclusive Discord community, where you can chat with other Marvel fanatics just like you. It's like you're assembling your very own team of Avengers.
Most importantly, by becoming a member, you'll be directly contributing to the show you love and helping us keep Marvel Movie Minute running strong. We value your support more than all the vibranium in Wakanda.
We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey through the MCU. You're the Pepper Potts to our Tony Stark, always there by our side.
You're the arc reactor to our Iron Man suit, the Heimdall to our Thor, the horny jokes to our Deadpool.
The gamma radiation to our Bruce Banner.
Well, maybe not that one.
I'm sorry.
So what are you waiting for? Don't be like Hawkeye, always getting left out of the action.
Head over to truestory.fm/join and become a member today.
Join us, and together we'll explore the Marvel Cinematic Universe like never before.
Step up to the streets and become the hero of your own story.
Excelsior, true believers. With your support, we'll make this membership program a smash hit. Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
What's up, most excellent friends?
It's Chrissy and Nathan from the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast.
It's a podcast where a filmmaker and a comedian
And their most excellent guests,
adventure their way through the 80s movies we think we love
or might have missed.
with our grown-up eyes to see how they hold up.
Join us for delightful discussion,
Rollicking recaps.
ratings, and deep-cut recommendations.
Plus, members get some extra fun chit-chat with the hosts after the show.
Download the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast today at truestory.fm.
Or find it wherever the finest podcasts are stored.
And do remember to keep the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast motto in mind.
Be excellent to each other and...
Party on.
Party on, dudes.
Ever wonder where the devil got his horns?
How about those cloven hooves?
Or that pitchfork?
Wasn't he an angel?
No, he was a snake.
No, he's the great red dragon.
No, he's the beast.
He's the prince of this world.
Prince of darkness.
Well, he's the prince of dark.
Good morning, star lovelies. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, The Devil's Details. What comes to mind when I say Lucifer?
How about Satan?
What about just the devil? How did the big bad of the Western world end up with so many faces? Join us as we dig up, decipher, and deconstruct the devil's many forms throughout history.
Take a guided tour with Dante through the 9 circles of hell.
Or revisit Satan's angsty bad boy years in Paradise Lost.
Learn the ins and outs of a Faustian contract.
Easier than a 1099, but with a hell of a lot more fine print.
Slither on over to The Devil's Details on True Story FM and join us in the diabolic discussion.
Love and hisses. Mwah! Didn't Al Pacino play him in a movie?
Are you sure that wasn't Robert De
I could
Niro?
have sworn it was Tim Curry.
That was Elizabeth
Didn't
Hurley.
he go down to Georgia at some point?
Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a weekly podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 5-minute segments and then examine them in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Storywell podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco and Kyle.
Yes, Rob.
You know, sometimes we like to play a little game here at the opening of the show. Maybe I'll give you a series of things and I ask you to tell me what connects them. We're going to play that right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you a list of 5 movies, and I want you to try and guess what they all have in common. Number 1, 1988's Die Hard.
Okay.
Number 2, 1996's Scream. Number 3, 2006's The Prestige.
Oh.
2014's Gone Girl. And finally, 2019's The Rise of Skywalker.
Wow. All I can think of is the power of power. I think someone dies by electrocution in most of those.
You're close. You're close. Okay. The answer is they all have characters that are presumed dead, but plot twist, they're not.
Okay. Yeah.
So who do we have? Die Hard, you have Karl, Gruber's second in command. Scream, we have Billy Loomis.
Funny.
Gone Girl, we have Amy Doon, Nick's wife. Oh, by the way, spoiler alerts in case any of you are worried about
if
this.
you haven't seen any of those movies.
The Prestige, which I won't even tell you who it is.
Yeah, don't mention that.
Because you should see it.
Yeah.
And in Rise of Skywalker, we have Chewbacca, which I still say should have stayed dead. He should have anyway.
Somehow Tony Stark returned for 2013's Iron Man 3, directed by Shane Black, written by Shane Black and Drew Pearce. We are continuing on the fight on top of the crane, Killian versus Iron Man. Actually, I should say versus Tony because he's in and out of the armor so much. So he is still in the Mark IV armor as the battle resumes here, and so as they're going around the back and forth, there's a interesting "why are you hitting yourself" moment as Killian turns the repulsor around and blasts Tony with his own beam. I thought that was a nice little way of as he is just a guy, it's trying to sort of use his skills against him. He then almost gets knocked off of the platform, but then he uses that we have a thing we haven't seen in a lot of the armors, which is jets along his spine. Like there's sort of like rockets things on this particular suit has that, and he goes almost entirely horizontal and it stops him and then it pushes him back up onto the platform.
I believe that's officially called Iron Giant mode.
I like it.
I'm pretty sure. By the way, one little cool thing about this is, so this suit, the shotgun suit, really all like blue grays and silver. What I thought was cool was that when they go to his in-helmet view, all of the interface matches the colors of the suit.
See,
and I was like, that's a nice
detail.
Touch. Nice touch.
So then he then does something else we've never seen before, or I think since. He uses the repulsors and rockets as augmentation assistance to push it. So he basically does a repulsor assisted backhand.
Yeah.
He essentially slapped it, but then he uses the repulsor to sort of push it forward to make it even hit harder. And the same thing he does as opposed to just hitting him with his knee, he rocket powers his knee together. But it's not clearly not enough because as that leg comes up, Killian grabs it and cuts off Tony's leg. Well, no, actually, it turns out it's one of those things where in the second you watch it, you're like, oh my God. But if you watch it, it is clear, but it happens so fast. Essentially, Tony opens up the armor on the back of it, and his leg drops out as Killian cuts off the leg of the Mark 40 armor. But it happens so fast and then Killian's standing there holding a leg with the molten effect on it. And for a second there, you think, oh my God, did he just cut off Tony Stark's leg?
I am not joking. This is one of this moment. Go and see if you can watch it and slow it down. It is one of the most impressive suit moments in all of Iron Man.
Wow.
Because if you slow it down and look at it frame by frame, it's blink and you'll miss it. His leg, you see everything open up and his leg comes out. But look inside what's visible in the suit. Somebody had a phenomenal time detailing all of it with lights and mechanics and all. It is so incredible that when you first see it, you're like, oh wait, I don't understand what just happened. You watch it in slow-mo and you have a whole different appreciation for this.
Yeah. Honestly, in the commentary, they talk about how this was really confusing to a lot of the audience members. They thought his leg chopped off, and I sort of then had to go back and watch it a couple of times and just sort of almost frame by frame to go, oh yeah, you literally do see at the bottom of the screen his leg does drop out before Killian uses his hand to cut through it. And obviously on a giant movie screen that would have been 20 feet long or whatever it was, but here on the small screen on a television or whatever, it makes it a lot harder to see.
Well, and the artist, they really obviously thought that through, because what happens is as it prepares to eject his leg, all of the armor starts to open up and there's this really cool blue neon light that all of a sudden illuminates the whole inside. So I think they were like, okay, how do we telegraph what's happening here? it's just too fast. But I got to tell you, you should go ahead and look at a freeze frame of it, and mind's blown how great it's done.
Yeah, it is really cool. So then, as he then takes this this leg, and Killian's holding onto this leg, he then starts to beat him with it. Which I'm like, once again, the fight choreography in this, the storytelling they're doing in this fight is so great, because he's like, has his arm like, oh, like I didn't get your leg off. Oh well, and he just starts beating him with his own Iron Man leg. That's pretty cool.
Somewhere, Monty Python fans are going. Yes.
So then, as they're standing, then Killian faces off and throws his leg down and says, "Well, here we are on the roof." It's like,
love it.
Oh, chef's kiss callback.
Seriously, no, really well done.
Going back to episode 1 for us. So then he then raises his hand up and then slices the suit in half as Tony ejects himself from the armor backwards. And so that's the end of the Mark 40. It absolutely is just bisected. So then Tony is at the end of his rope, at the end of his time, at the end of the crane, maybe at the end of his life. There's nowhere to go. Like,
this is it.
Like, all around him is darkness, empty space, and the ocean below. And then coming out of nowhere, like the resurrected hero coming from the sky. Is it Iron Patriot? No, it's our old friend Mark 42. Jarvis says Mark 42 inbound, and even Tony is shocked by this. So somehow, after being hit by the Peterbilt on the Miami Highway, it has pulled itself back together and slowly through the sky limped its way back to all of its brethren. You see it flying around. It's not doing great.
Right. And hopefully it's learned its lesson about obstacle avoidance.
Yeah.
Don't run in front of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Tony says, "I'll be damned. The prodigal son returned." So can you give us just a very small version of what the prodigal son means, Rob?
Oh, prodigal son. It's the it is scriptural. It's a story of a father with 2 sons, and the one son says, "You're not dying quick enough for me. Why don't you give me my inheritance so I can go blow it in Vegas on hookers and blow?" And wow, sorry, didn't expect that version.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it? Decides to come back, and the father's like, "Oh my God, my son's back," and celebrates. And the lesson is not for the prodigal son; it's for the son that stayed behind and was bitter about it. Ooh, that's a whole other episode. But anyway, yes. That's the reference.
So the suit flies in, and it's basically going to get on. And as it gets to him, it hits a piece of metal and shatters all over the ground around him. So just pieces of the 42 all around. And Tony just says it and just sees this and goes, "Whatever." Like, he's so over it. Like, here it is, like the moment of triumph, and this thing this is beautiful storytelling. Like, this is such a great, like, oh man, he's going to get in the armor. He's going to armor up, and now it's a big fight. Like, no, this thing absolutely just like,
it's kind of awesome in that the moment is hilarious, and it hits the pylon of the crane thing, right? But then again, as we continue to say, well, he got over Pepper pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
well,
whatever.
I mean, obviously he's fighting for his life,
It's been no, I know, but it is kind of funny.
It's coming around here. So as we get to minute 112, then they're facing off, and Killian says, "You really didn't deserve her, Tony. Oh. It's a pity. I was so close to having her perfect." Ooh. And then as he moves in to basically deliver the killing blow, as Tony's got nothing left, Tony says, like waves off. Okay, wait, slow down. And he says, "You're right. I don't deserve her. Here's where you're wrong. She was already perfect."
Oh,
and that's
great.
When he does a gesture we've seen before, and he sends the Mark 42 suit onto Killian. Another one of these, like, oh, of course, but in the moment, never saw that coming.
No, it didn't. It's great. Yeah.
It's like they had telegraphed it. They showed before him pulling the suit, putting it onto her, and like never thought of it this way. He puts it on to his enemy who he's trying to destroy. And he says, as he sort of pins him up, and once again, in a very familiar pose, pins him onto the side of the metal crane. He says, Jarvis, do me a favor and blow Mark 42. And as the helmet clamps onto Killian's face, he screams out, no! And it stops. It's the sort of the opposite of the Darth Vader no.
And by the way, it's horrifying. Like Killian looks like a demon at this point, right before he gets sealed into it.
Fully glowing.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, and then so Tony then Jarvis does what he's told and explodes the suit, like absolutely destroys it, and you see all the pieces of it go raining down, and it seems like that's the end. Like that's like he got him, and so as Killian then dies, he is the first person to die in Iron Man armor, but he won't be the last.
Oh snap! Okay, so wait, two things to discuss. Once again, freeze frame it. You have to see what the suit looks like when it explodes.
Yeah,
it is an incredible combination of the suit destroying itself and his extremis effect, and honestly it's absolutely brilliant. I can't get over how good this looks, and it's hidden because the thing literally happens within a second. Since this is now we're done with Killian in his form here, can we talk about the tattoo for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the tattoo, I think we mentioned in the last episode, there's a Shang-Chi reference. There's an interesting little Easter egg in this. So his tattoo is based on a character called Fang Foom, which appeared in Strange Tales. I think it's from like 1961, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This is a character that was inspired. Stan Lee was inspired by a 1934 movie that he watched, and he liked the alliteration of the name. And it's basically it's a dragon. That character
traditionally wearing purple pants. He usually wears like Fang Foom traditionally wears little shorts.
He's like a Dragon Hulk. He's like green with purple pants. That's
sometimes they're blue. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of times when you see traditional Fang Foom, he's wearing little shorts. Who knows why? Maybe Jack Kirby thought it was funny. I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I love Fang Foom. He's one of my favorite of the Marvel monsters.
What's cool about him?
He's been around for a really long time, but the name obviously is really good. But he is not. He's sort of like Godzilla, where he's not necessarily evil, but he's not necessarily good. He's more just a force of nature. So he doesn't really talk, or he doesn't have a lot most of the time. Sometimes it's Marvel Comics, so he's been around for forever. But he's just like this really cool sort of giant monster. Like whenever and the nice thing about it is, for being a giant dragon, he comes out of nowhere a lot. So they'll be in like a typical sort of Avengers mission where they're just like going into a mine and trying to stop Arnim Zola from a zombie horde, and all of a sudden they'll like open a cave and Fang Foom is there. It's like, how in the world, like this thing is there's like 3 stories tall. How did it get down here? Like they have a fun way of just having him just show up out of nowhere for a giant monster.
Oh, funny.
And Favreau's also a big fan of his too. He wrote a whole comic, Iron Man comic with him.
Got it. And then the connection to Shang-Chi is, if you've seen the Shang-Chi movie, the Great Protector is in some ways based on this character. So the dragon that appears in there in the third act is connected to this, or at least inspired by this.
Yeah. I believe he's technically an alien. I think that's like his origin thing is actually he's an alien. He's not like a dragon. He's like from space, but the same way Groot is a tree.
Right.
But I hope that tattooist got paid, because you're not going to be able to collect on it now.
Well, and if you're a real fan of Killian's tattoos, at the time we're recording, there is an Iron Man 3 Lego set coming out.
Oh, yes.
With a new Killian Lego figure, shirtless. Of course. It's the only way you want your Lego minifigs.
That's how I like my Killian.
With the print Lego-fied on the minifig.
So then, obviously, there's a giant explosion on here, because when you blow an Iron Man suit of armor, it's not just a little poof. So it's enough that it would probably kill Tony. So he leaps off of the platform and they bring another fight. So he is caught by the Mark 15 armor, aka Sneaky. So it's not quite on and has some damage to it too. So he's fallen, but he has enough for one boot jet, and it slows him down enough that he's able to land on the ground and be, intact. Like he's
assisted. He's a fall assist.
Yeah. So he has now landed in the area where Killian fell, where Pepper fell, where the building fell. He is now on the ground with all this wreckage, and still flaming wreckage falling down all around him as he's laying there. As he gets to minute 113, then one of the Iron Man helmets, maybe from Sneaky, we're not sure, falls down. Or maybe this is the Mark 42, crashes down and lands facing off. And so Tony then looking to the cold iron eyes of Iron Man and wondering what it's going to be like if this is the suit that Killian was in. Like,
right?
Am I about to see a skull?
Right.
And the helmet like heats up, and then the front pops off, and it's empty. And like, there's this big moment where Tony like, whew, like similar to this nightmare, I think.
Do you think this moment? Now, I think there's a duality to it. I think one, he's expecting, is the head in there, right? Like, did I really kill this guy? But do you also think he's having kind of like a Dagobah cave moment?
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah.
Right. Like, I think it's that too. Like, where he's like, wow, this is me. There I am. I'm looking at it. And here we are. Like, what am I going to do? It's cool. I think it's nicely done.
Yeah, no, it's a good face off thing. So unfortunately, he does not have a chance to do anything more because something moves in the flames, in the fire, and out of the wreckage steps Aldrich Killian. Oh, in classic movie fashion, the monster is not dead. He's alive. And I know we've been saying it a lot, but man, him coming out of the fire, blackened and with gashes, like his arm is barely held on, like he's molten underneath it, staggering out. It looks so amazing
with a whole bunch of lit Christmas lights behind him.
Yes, exactly.
It's amazing.
It's a Shane Black movie, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, just him staggering out of there, just like, brought back from the dead, like, you can't stop me. And so as he is then standing, he says, "No more false faces. You said you wanted the Mandarin. You're looking right at him. It was always me, Tony, right from the start. I am the Mandarin." And that's where minute 113 comes to an end. Before we get to what happens next, this was not the original plan, nor was it what they shot. This came in reshoots. And it's interesting that you brought up the movie that they were homaging in the original version of this, because when the fire happens, the figure that stepped out of it was not the leader, but the henchman. It was supposed to be Brandt. In the same way that at the end of Die Hard.
It's Karl. Yeah.
Karl shows up. Like, it's not Hans that comes out at the end of Die Hard. It's Karl. This was going to be Brandt when Brandt was the number 2, when Savin was just a guy. Like, Brandt was the Darth Vader to the.
And they literally were referencing Die Hard with that concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's Shane Black has got the lethal weapon, like, right in the pocket there, like he's in the thing. Yeah, it was going to be Brandt was going to come out at this point.
Are you telling me there's a chance here that Pepper likes Twinkies? No, I'm kidding. That's all. But actually, that makes sense.
In this movie, that seems a stretch. Of all the things we've seen, guys on fire and suits flying around, Gwyneth Paltrow eating a Twinkie, I don't buy it.
Okay, you're right.
Something can't even my imagination.
That's mind-blowing, though. I mean, oh, jeez.
So, as minute 114 starts...
Wait. So they filmed it. Hold on. So
they shot
So what
it.
happened? Why did they change it?
The creative committee. Like, once again, they're not allowed to have, Mandarin has to be a guy. And so therefore his henchman has to be a guy, like, because as we talked about before, the original thought was Dr. Maya Hansen was the Mandarin and her right hand was Brandt.
So they had to bring Killian
was
back.
In it. Killian was always in it.
No, but
not the like, he was not the main guy.
So they needed him to be. So they needed to have him.
Was all over this fight. She was here. Like, she shot stuff on this dock. Like, once again, it was part of this whole thing.
Sure.
They excised her entirely. Like,
but the moment
Tennessee.
But the moment is for him to say, "I am the Mandarin."
Well, yeah, that was the reshoot.
That's got it.
Like, they thought they had. I mean, with the tattoos and stuff, they thought, like, we got it. Like, on the tower, like, he was supposed to be in Mark 42 armor and then blown up. The end. And then the surprise was supposed to be like the henchman shows up, like, and it was like they were talking about like Odd Job. They're talking about
of course,
like the henchman showing up as sort of like you think it's over, but now there's like one more thing you have to do for the even the Doc Holliday.
Right. Sure.
But then then this was all this I Am the Mandarin is reshoot. Like all this stuff that happens in here was
interesting.
The revision that came. So, but after he finishes his speech, he is then hit by a foreign object as a metal pole comes out of nowhere and slams into him and knocks him completely aside. And oh my God, with the metal pole, it's Pepper Potts. She's alive. So in full glowing extremis effect, there is Pepper Potts, alive and well, surviving her fall due to the extremis powers that she now has. It's a great moment. Did you?
Oh, this whole sequence.
Did not see that coming at all. I'm like, yes.
Do you? Okay, and okay, I am coming around to the dialogue here. In the theater, the place went nuts when you saw this movie on its release.
Yeah.
Place goes nuts, and Tony says what we're all thinking.
He sees her as Pepper Potts in her sports bra and pants, glowing with extremis, holding a giant metal pole, just having it knock the Mandarin down, like eyes glowing, hair flowing out. He looks up at the love of his life, now back from the dead, and says, I got nothing.
Yeah.
He's absolutely nope. Like he's got I don't he's like, I don't know how to process this at all. And it's perfect. Like anything he would have said to try and be quippy or like,
nope.
Honey, you look so hot or anything like that. No, like I got nothing is the perfect anti-line or whatever it is. It's just absolutely like the perfect thought for this, because we're all thinking that scene too. So then oh good, hey, there's an Iron Man armor coming, now everything's gonna be fine. But wait, so this is the Mark 9 armor. It comes on and it starts targeting what it was told to do back in the original fight, which is target all extremis heat signatures. And unfortunately, that now includes Pepper. Right. So Tony realizes this as it starts firing down, and he says, Jarvis, subject at my 12 o'clock is not a target. Disengage. But there's no answer. And he realizes it's because when he fell, the earwig popped out of his ear and is laying on the concrete over there. Jarvis can't hear him. So now, once again, Tony Stark's nightmares. And Iron Man armor is about to kill the love of his life after she just got saved.
This is literally the nightmare.
Yeah, this is literally the nightmare. Like just like we had from him waking up and having Mark 42 armor, like have Pepper and trying to kill her. Now another suit is actually trying to kill her. And it's interesting that they chose this one because the Mark 9 is the classic Iron Man look. So we're right back to the red and gold.
Right.
This is a classic Iron Man armor that is coming to kill Pepper Potts.
Right.
But oh no, that is not what's going to happen. Pepper looks over at Tony with just fire, literally like fire in her eyes, and he doesn't know what to make of it. He says, what? Oh, what? Are you mad at me?
Yeah.
And so this is where Gwyneth Paltrow gets to have her action hero moment, because Pepper full on runs towards Tony. She flips up into the air, punches through the Iron Man suit, and then slams it back down onto the ground. As then Killian is back up and running at her, she then takes her arm and jabs it into the open arm of the Iron Man armor and yanks it up and then backhands him with it. And as he goes flying across the deck, because not only she's using like the Iron Man servo power thing, extremis, as we've seen, gives you extreme strength. He goes flying across the way. She sees from the armor has dropped one of the mini missiles. So she then takes the mini missile, kicks it over to him, and then uses the repulsor. Like, see, Rob, you were talking about how she couldn't work the repulsor before. Now she
learned. Yeah, she figured it out.
Fires the repulsor, hits the missile, and it explodes. And destroys Killian once and for all. Wow, like I've seen this cosplayed too. Like this look of her glowing in the outfit with the Iron Man armor, eyes glowing, like she's a Marvel hero.
Oh, okay. The only thing you missed was she does, when she destroys the suit, she does the perfect 3-point hero landing.
Oh yes, yeah, back to the classic like Iron Man landing,
and not her last time at doing that. So that'll happen again. No, this is totally thrilling. This is an amazing sequence. She looks incredible. I know one of the things
I think, just speaking for the fandom at the time, no one saw this coming.
No, not at all. Especially when you legit thought she was dead.
Right.
And so this all happens, and
Gwyneth Paltrow as an actress has that sort of, regal aura about her as the daughter of a famous actress. Like she has this sort of like I do reacting kind of things. Like she does this, like for her, this is kind of slumming. Sure. But now to get in, and as opposed to being in the nice polished suits and scolding Tony, here she is stripped down, firing Iron Man armor and taking out the bad guy.
What do you think? So like this is one of the bigger jaw drop moments. Because again, if you take it into when the movie came out, what people knew, you weren't expecting this, you just had the roller coaster ride of the emotion. I would suspect that some of this, it doesn't carry the weight as a jaw drop moment in the overall MCU. And I'm going to say this. There's two reasons. One, I think because there's so much of the movie is not, the plot doesn't have a lot of sense to it, as we have discussed.
Yeah, it's a little threadbare. So
this has always been, and again, this is why, I only saw it once. But then the other thing is that I think there certainly seemed to be a sensationalized view of her outfit during this whole sequence. We've already talked about this, that this was her choosing, right?
Yes, this is Gwyneth's choice.
But I mean, like, I think always people, like, none of us as MCU fans who are men want to go, you know what I love? I love that scene where she's in the sports bra and she kicks ass. Like, nobody wants to say that. This is probably the time to bring this up. There was a during the 10th anniversary of Marvel Studios, Marvel Legends did a 3-pack. So there were a lot of figures from this movie that people wanted in the Marvel Legends, which is the highly detailed line. The 3-pack was the Ben Kingsley Mandarin, the Iron Patriot, and this Pepper Potts even comes with the removable arm, so you can.
That's what I was going to ask if I had that,
or it has the gauntlet arm. Now, again, I mean, it's like how many guys want to put their Slave Leias like on their shelves, right? Like this is that whole thing. I honestly do think that's the reason why this scene doesn't get the adulation it should, because it is such an incredible scene in the series of the movie, and especially for the character. I don't know if that's a hot take. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there.
I don't know. That's interesting because I mean, without trying to dig too far into like the long and weird history of female characters' costume,
right.
From the swimsuit of Wonder Woman, like the most powerful of all the female characters.
Sure.
In just like a bathing costume,
right?
That's a whole can of worms that we're not equipped to do.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's there's been a lot. There's also been many action movies that had forced their heroes into much more ridiculous outfits that do.
Of course,
like The Fifth Element, where you had a lot less clothing that you had to do a lot more things into. So yeah, it's a weird balance between the two, and obviously we've come a long way.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's
an amazing sequence. Like I'm actually,
even just the Pepper Potts we met in Iron Man 1 getting to this point.
I am so much better on this movie in its chunks that I'm very happy.
Yeah. Because coming up, I think maybe in the next minute, so that's sort of the end of 114. So Tony says, "Honey," and then she turns around. Maybe my favorite line in this movie, because it's just so perfect in this moment. Pepper Potts standing there as this, she turns to Tony and says, "Oh my God, that was really violent." It's just such the perfect thing. It's almost like Pepper is now coming back into her body and goes, "Wait, did I just do that?" Like that moment, and once again, as opposed to I got nothing, it's just the absolute perfect thing for that line, as opposed to like, that's how you do it, Tony, or any type of like tough girl line. She's just like was just remarking, like, not even, it's almost like she was observed, like she was standing at the sidelines watching Tony take out a bad guy. That was really violent. Like, yeah, you did that. You leapt up in the air, pulled up the armor, threw a missile, blasted a guy. That was really violent.
Do you think, is that the instability of the extremis sort of effect, where she doesn't have like active, like it's Hulk, right? Like Hulk and Smart Hulk. She doesn't have like completely cognizant control.
No, I don't think so. We've never really seen that. We haven't seen that in the previous people. Like we haven't really seen people lose control, but we haven't seen people right at the start of their stuff. So I think it was instinct,
right?
But I don't think it was like automatic pilot or whatever too. It was sort of like she realized this is a thing that she could do,
right?
And sprung into action, and then sort of now is like, oh, I really just did that. It's that lifting a car off of somebody,
right?
That adrenaline thing. It's just like, oh, I didn't know that I could do that. So yeah, then it gets back into just Tony Pepper from here on out, as they're just like trying to get back into normality and under control. Tony said, "You just scared the devil out of me." I thought you were. And she says, "I was dead. Why? Because I fell 200 feet. Who's the hot mess now?" Like, once again, here we are at the end of they come to the end of the movie, and like the great lines are just totally up.
Yes,
hot mess now, calling all the way back to the scene in the bedroom where she's walking out. He said,
he might be in the lab.
He's
like, I'm a hot mess. Yeah, I'm a hot mess.
After
when she found him with the dinner. That's right.
He's about to storm, and she was going to storm out. And
right.
Hot mess. So now, who's the hot mess now? And Tony says it's still debatable. Probably tipping your way a little bit. Why don't you dress like this at home? Sports bra, the whole deal. And Pepper says, I think I understand why you don't want to give up the suits. What am I going to complain about now? And Tony says, well, it's me. You'll think of something.
But, that's a cool piece of development for her character.
Yeah.
To finally get an understanding of, okay, I understand now what you're dealing with. A little bit, right?
Yeah, she was sort of trapped in the armor before. Like, he sent it to her, and she was sort of stuck in it and tried to make the best of it. But now she actively chose to like pick it up and do all the Iron Man stuff. Like, she did the Iron Man job here at the end.
Do you think
do you hear that? Okay, just a second. There's the ice cream van sitting outside my house.
Oh, that's nice. We'll make sure you could remove this, or we could just say, hey, real world, there's an ice cream van.
It's just sitting out in front of the house.
Just waiting for the kids. Do they know the kids are going to come out? Wow.
That's interesting that they're playing The Entertainer from the... Right, yeah, like a synth keyboard version.
Holy cow!
That's the song to draw the children in.
That's interesting.
Because they're big fans of Robert Redford, I guess. Okay, it has stopped now.
Do you think that what this really has happened to Pepper is she's gotten a taste of what it feels like to be invincible?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think you got a taste of what it is to be a hero, because she just defeated the villain.
Well, but if it's that piece of invincibility, now you understand why Tony takes the risks, just like she did. So the idea is that if you can feel like nothing can happen to you, you're going to act and do things that are way outside what anyone would consider to be sane or normal. And I think that that's the thing that really allows her now to connect to Tony in a different way.
So Tony tries to bring Pepper over and says, come here. And Pepper says, no, don't touch me. Because she's worried that she's extremist. She's going to burn him. She just burned through all that. And Tony says, don't worry about it. She says, no, I'm going to burn you. And Tony says, no, you're not. Not hot. And he touches her skin and it's fine. And then Pepper sort of, once again, as she's processing all this stuff, says, am I going to be okay? Like, am I going to die? Am I going to explode? Like, is this going to be all right? And Tony said, no, you're in a relationship with me. Everything will never be okay. I like that too.
That's great. That's honesty.
He's like, but I think I can figure this out. I almost had this 20 years ago when I was drunk. I think I can get you better.
Ah.
And that is where minute 115 comes to an end as the two of them are reunited.
Do you think this was a missed opportunity when he goes, no, you're not hot? Well, I mean, you're hot.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
You're hot to the touch.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like that was just, did they just have a writer's discussion? Not too obvious? Because I mean, that writes itself.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. This makes a whole lot more sense. I have much more appreciation as we're getting near to the end. Much more appreciation for the character stories in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's cool.
I understand why they're doing, but this is the good stuff. Like Tony and Brody together is the good stuff. Tony and Pepper together is the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Now we're into this thing. It maybe is absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe because we were that now they're back together, it makes it feel all that much sweeter, all that much better and things. But in the meanwhile, if you want to maybe head over to your favorite podcatcher of choice, wherever it is you're listening to us on, we see the statistics, oddly enough, that show where people are. So a lot of people, the majority of listeners actually are on Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, why not throw us a rating? Maybe send us a couple stars our way. 1 star for each of the armors that have been featured in those minutes.
Ooh.
You can't put 35 stars on there, but you can do 5, and that would be great.
Or you could do 5 7 times with 7 aliases.
That's true.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. We don't want to artificially inflate our rating. But and while 5's on your mind, maybe send $5 our way and become a member, and you can get these episodes early. And and obviously there is a Thunder God who is about to be making his triumphant return. So you can just stay subscribed for that. So we appreciate any of the stars you can spare and any of the dollars you can spare, or just the fact that you've given us, for 30 to 45 minutes of your life for as all these minutes. So we're not done yet, though. So be back here as we get into just desserts and justice being served as we wrap up here the last couple of minutes of Iron Man 3. Enough said.
Bye.